Good evening. Welcome to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour, Saga 960 AM. I come to you every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock with interesting people, and tonight is no exception. Tonight I want to reintroduce you to Vitina Blumenthal. She's a multi-passionate soulpreneur. She calls herself soulpreneur. I love that. Her businesses have been featured in Marie Claire, the Globe and Mail, Global TV, and more. Her latest venture is Align Creative Minds. And with Align Creative Minds, she helps fellow soulpreneurs, entrepreneurs, create credible and abundant online businesses. Well, Vitina, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
I am doing lovely, Brian. It's so nice to be back with you again. It's been a few months and a lot of things have changed in the world.
It certainly has. And so I thought that this was a new business that you had launched, and you say it's actually an old business that you've always had, or that you've brought back to life, or putting more energy in, or what?
Yeah, so my background's in design. I went to OCAD for design, majoring in advertising. And it's always kind of been, I used to consider it more of my bread and butter as I was developing some of my other businesses. It was how I was able to bootstrap Wonderful Soul and Wanderwell, which were my retreat businesses that have both been closed down over the last 8 or so months. But it has been running for the last 8 years. It started more as a freelance business back in university when I was at OCAD, and I've carried some of those design clients for the last 10 years, but they won't let me go.
And so what is Align Creative Minds?
So our mission really at the end of the day, and you were getting there, was to help soulpreneurs overcome imposter syndrome, build more confidence in their business, increase their income, ideally get some more dream clients. And most importantly, we work with soulpreneurs to help them create a positive impact in their clients' lives. So we're really focused on helping business owners who have a soul-centered, purposeful, driven business, and helping them through our branding really is what it is, helping them through branding, creating more awareness around their business and help their dream clients actually find them.
What is a soulpreneur?
A soulpreneur is someone who is in complete alignment with their highest vision of themselves. So they're people who don't really separate necessarily their business and their personal life. They believe that it's kind of intertwined, where, some people do separate business and their personal life. For them, it is almost like their soul mission to do this business, and this is how they almost serve in their daily life.
Okay, and so at one point in time, you had a wellness business. Is this particularly for people that are in the wellness industry, or do you think any industry?
Yeah, I would say, most of our clients end up typically being in the wellness industry. Their wellness, maybe even consider themselves spiritual entrepreneurs. But at the end of the day, you don't have to be a yoga instructor or a meditation teacher to have a soul-centered business. You could have a product. You could have something that inspires others. And that's really who we're talking to. But we do tend to attract more of the wellness client. I think it might be because I was in the wellness world for so long.
And you called some customers, what do you call them? Dream customers? What's that?
Dream clients. So dream clients are the people that you want to spend your day with, that you're like, you might already have a business and you love this one particular client. And when you're clear, it's almost like you want 100 other of these clients because they're just so awesome. They're so easy to work with. They're like a sponge. If you're a coach, you love that. They're like just so on top of doing the exercises or the things that you're trying to teach them at the end of the day. So ideally, this dream client is someone who you really want to serve. And that is someone who I guess this is part of something that we call the internal branding phase. And we get clear on our ICA, which is the ideal client avatar, which is more of a traditional term. We call them dream clients because it aligns more with our demographic. But your ICA is someone who You almost want to step into their shoes. This is considered more of a compassion-based branding method where you step into this person's shoes, you understand what they're struggling with, what their desires are, what their biggest fears are, and you're able to tap into what it is they actually really want. And as a business owner, this is really beneficial because when you can understand what their struggles are, what their desires are, you can create more programs. You can create more products that are in line with what someone is actually willing to pay for at the end of the day.
We're chatting today with Vitina Blumenthal about her business, which is called Align Creative Minds. And we're talking about soulpreneurs, and we're talking about dream clients. Sounds like I wish I could be a soulpreneur and find some dream clients. Stay with us. We're going to come back after some messages with Vitina in just a second. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour. We're chatting tonight about soulpreneurs and dream clients. And we're chatting with Vitina Blumenthal, who is the head of an organization called Align Creative Minds. And so Align Creative Minds is what? An agency that helps soulpreneurs with their businesses, with what? Their websites, with branding, with marketing, with what?
Yeah, so we've moved to more of an educational style approach in helping, almost like teaching a man to fish or teaching a woman to fish approach, and helping them develop their business. So a lot of our online courses, we do branding, we do websites, social media, helping these soulpreneurs really elevate their brand, creating consistent brands and that help really elevate their brand awareness and help their dream clients, like we love talking about, their dream clients, help find them at the end of the day.
And is this one-on-one or just webinars on the internet or what?
Great question. So we do take a limited number of one-on-one clients. Our courses have really taken over, and the courses are more like group coaching. So many of our courses are a paint by number approach in everything that we do. We try to make it as easy as possible and giving them all the elements they need to build a successful brand, a converting website, and a social media that feels effortless to post. I know that a lot of people struggle and overthink all of their posting that they do on social, and that is something we want to try and eliminate.
What is a brand?
A brand, that is a great question. So one of our teachers at OCAD, Frederick Burbach, said to us, a brand is an image that is formed in the mind and a feeling that resides in the heart of everyone who comes into contact with it. So it's a little bit different than marketing. So marketing is a short-term approach to try and sell a specific product, where building a brand isn't necessarily about becoming an overnight success. It's a consistent strategy and approach to continue building relationships. So you're really building this brand to connect with your dream client. It is understanding what your values are, what you stand for. And I believe it's like 64% of consumers cite shared values as the number one reason why they even purchase from a brand in the first place. So it really helps you get clear on your internal brand phase, which is more of the essence, the personality, which is unique to every person as an individual. And you can even take your own unique individual characteristics, your unique quirks, and apply them to even a product-based business at the end of the day. So you're getting clear on who it is you're serving. What is your vision, your mission, your values? What is your solution that is actually helping the people that you're serving? It is understanding your unique DNA, your unique personality that gets fused in the brand, and being able to take this and this is where people get a little bit confused. People assume that a brand is just the visual components, but this is almost like the underlying foundation. It's almost like the aura of a brand. It's something that you don't see. But once you're really, really clear on what this internal brand is, you then take those components and you fuse it into your external brand, which is what most people are familiar with. So your external brand are your your fonts, using font and color psychology so that you can speak to those dream clients, so you can radiate that essence that you have in the internal brand into a manifested vision. So you have your colors, you have your fonts, you have your imagery and photography style, and that would be your visual voice, and then you have your verbal voice. So your verbal voice is more of the communication, the verbal communication that you have with your clients. This day and age, we have a lot more verbal voice because of social media, where you're able to write and really express yourself, and through your website, through your story. And these, I mean, brand is a big term, an overarching term, but at the end of the day, the biggest thing about brand building is to create that connection with your dream client and building that long-term relationship, building trust with those people. And this is, it's not about an overnight success at the end of the day. We're
okay. Let's try to unpack this and use some examples. So Nike, for an example, is the brand the name Nike, or is it the swoosh? Or is it the just do it tagline? Or is it all of the above? Or is it, you said something about in your heart or the vision? Like, is it a desire to run?
That's a great question. So it's interesting that you said run as well. So all of the above and more. So when you think of Nike, even you had just said it, you think about, it's more athletic, right? You think of athletes, you think of runners, basketball players, etc. So they do a great job of connecting to the people who is their ICA. So even in all their advertising, you'll notice it's always some sort of athletic image. They did do a lot of brand endorsements with athletes early on in like probably in the 90s. Even maybe earlier, but they do a great job of really understanding who their dream client is, who their ICA is. And they create
what's an ICA?
Ideal client avatar.
Ideal client
avatar. Or ideal customer avatar, depending if you're service or product based. But they do an amazing job at creating all of their products for their ideal client avatar. All of it is athletic wear. I don't think that they would ever create ball gowns. That's not their thing. So they really understand and listen to their clients when building their products. And
but athletic wear isn't their brand. It's their business. They've defined their business better than some people define their business.
Of course.
They define what business they're in.
Of course. And if you think of even the tagline, sorry, that was more of the solution of listening to their clients, which is part of brand building. It is more the solution. But I would say even if you look at their tagline, just do it. It is for the go-getter. It is for someone who is ambitious. And it is for someone who, if even thinking of Michael Jordan, that was their ambassador for a really long time. He was the number one player. So it's people who aspired to be number one. And that's almost the essence that you might feel when wearing Nike products or even just purchasing a Nike product. So they have years and years and years and years under their belt of brand building, but even if you're someone just starting out, what Nike did beautifully as a brand is be consistent. That's kind of where I was going before. They've been consistent. And if you're starting your business or if you're early on in your business and building your brand, consistency is the key to create a successful brand.
Well, it's interesting that you talk about sort of being in the heart, because as you're talking about this, I can't help but remember a movie that I loved with Mel Gibson. I think it was called What Women Want. And they came up with, actually he stole, but they collectively came up with a tagline. I think it was not games, no games, just sports. And the idea was that the females didn't want to go to a meet they didn't want to go to a fitness place and have guys pick them up. They wanted to actually exercise. And
Right.
so it wasn't about games. It was about sports. And to do that, to achieve that, to figure it out, they had to actually get in the mind of the female.
Yeah. And wasn't that the movie where Mel Gibson could read minds? Was that the?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
That's my point. He had to get in the mind. He had to get in the female's mind before he had to understand what women really want before he could come up with the appropriate advertising. And,
absolutely. I mean, not everyone's a mind. Yeah, but not everyone's a mind reader. I mean, that would be great. But it is like that. That's the compassion-based branding method. Is really stepping into the mind, the psychology of who that consumer is. So Mel Gibson is a great example.
So this is like a pretty massive change for you, because last time we talked, you were taking people on retreats, and you had spent a bit of time, I think, as I remember, telling me about how you had to be successful in life, do the tough work of understanding yourself. And you were all about understanding yourself.
Yes. I mean, part of my entrepreneurial journey is understanding myself and looking at ways that I've been getting in my own way. It was back in 2012 where I was in an ashram in the south of India, and I had been burnt out. I was working 80+ hour weeks prior to that time in the ashram. And I was doing my yoga teacher training. It was about day 28, and I finally just felt my mind relax. And I remember my teacher, Ravi G, said to me, "Oh, Vitina, you're so relaxed when you first got here. I was so scared of you." And, being the people pleaser I couldn't believe he said that to me. I was really offended, but also laughed because I knew exactly what he meant. And it was at that time that I knew I wanted to take people on life-changing experiences. I wanted to help people heal themselves. And for years, I thought I had to do that alone. And that's when I started Wonderful Soul. That's when I collaborated on Wanderwell. And just, through a lot of life changes and through even COVID, some factors just got in the way of that. And I thought for so long that, again, I had to do it all alone. And that was my ego talking, definitely. And ego aside, I knew that it was time to step into my calling. And, for years, again, you knew me more so in the wellness world, where a lot of people knew me in the design world, but it was all word of mouth. Like I never did any advertising. And, during my 8 years of entrepreneurship, excuse me, there was always one constant. And no matter where I was in the world, even in the middle of leading a retreat, design inquiries to work with us kept rolling in. And I couldn't believe it because I would never try. And even when we weren't trying, if we were in the process of running our retreat business, I realized it was our branding that really helped us score 40K contracts in a short 6 months of even starting our business. And so I got to see this power of branding firsthand. I learned this stuff in school, but I got to see it firsthand in both of my wellness businesses. And I think it came to me where, I resisted design for so long, even though I was really good at it. People would always come to me for it. That was my most requested skill, even when I was promoting other things about myself. And so I had to sit back and just think, okay, well, how can I incorporate? I do love design. And I think it was just because I had so much on my plate that I resisted it, because it's hard to be really creative when you're really busy. There's no space for creativity. So I asked myself, how can I incorporate my love of design? I love design, and my love of doing the inner work. And that's when I had talked to a girlfriend of mine, and we were considering partnering back in late 2019. And I had asked her if she wanted to join Align. And I said, I'm not interested in building an agency. I'm ready to help wellness and spiritual entrepreneurs, soulpreneurs along their branding journey. And, many entrepreneurs come to us for a design. We like to call them facelifts. And many don't have a budget when they first start to invest in branding. And we realize that most solopreneurs don't have a budget to spend 5,000 plus on good branding when they're first starting out. So it was my goal, and Leslie Nimmo, my co-founder, she was hopped right on board when I said, it's like, I'm ready to start educating and passing on these skills and still using our design skills, because a lot of this stuff is templated. But going back to your initial question, that was a long-winded question to say, you know, my entrepreneurial journey has been my biggest self-discovery journey. And I every year I say I would never imagine this is where I would be today. And
that's where you are.
But it's where I am. And, you know, there still is work to be done. I have my perfectionism, my people-pleasing tendencies that love to come out. I think they're really primed in us as designers. But that journey never ends for me. Whether I'm teaching other people on retreats, yoga retreats, or I'm doing this here, it's just different self-discovery that we get to infuse in the programs.
So you talked about how some people that launch these businesses can't afford your fees or other branding consulting fees initially. If you've already started a business and you don't have a brand, or you don't have a really great brand vision, is it too late, or can you rethink your brand after you've started a business?
No, it's never too late. We have had clients come to us like years into business, 6 years into business, over 10 years, 15 years in business. They've come to us for design facelifts. So as an example, we worked with a yoga teacher and studio owner, Hannah. And when Hannah first opened her studio, she worked with an award-winning designer to create her brand. And she quickly realized that they had no understanding of the yoga and wellness industry, which was really evident in the final design. And you wouldn't really expect that when you're working with a quote unquote award-winning designer. So she was really disappointed and felt like it just really never represented the unique essence of her studio. Mula Yoga, shout out to Mula Yoga. It's one of the best studios in Toronto, if you're here. But it was 4 years later, with our expertise in both wellness and design, that we were able to create something that captured the aura of her studio. And really, to top it off, within a year of launching the rebrand, she doubled her yoga teacher training attendance and attracted students that aligned with her methodology and program. So even though Hannah had been building her brand for I think it was maybe it was 4 years after she launched her brand, she still was able to develop it further. And she probably even had a clearer understanding of what her vision was. It is helpful to know at the beginning, because it will save you a lot of time. And I even have another example, Francine, and similar to Hannah, Francine worked with 2 different design agencies to bring her vision to life over maybe between 10 to 15 years. And before working with us, she probably spent tens of thousands of dollars on building her brand and her websites that didn't even align with what she was trying to put out into the world. And after working with us, she told us that she was thrilled with the end result, which is always awesome for us to hear. But she also expressed that the new branding strengthened her position in her industry. And she's been a business owner for 10 plus years. And she even scored new, larger clients in that year that we relaunched. So branding does really help you align with the right clients. And it really helps you save a lot of time, hundreds of hours.
How are you different and so successful? It's that you're doing this alignment between people's purpose and their brand?
I would say the more you can niche down, because as you know, there are hundreds of thousands, maybe, designers out there. And there is a reason why our clients are attracted to us at the end of the day, right? And based on what our internal brand is. So we know that we're meant to serve soulpreneurs. We want to be aligned with people that have a mission and vision that is to help serve others. So we want them to make money at the end of the day as well. That is part of our mission, but we know that these people are soul-centered business owners. So if you don't identify with that, you probably would be looking onto another website. And that's okay, because we're very clear on who we want to serve. And it actually helps us, because if we're too busy serving people that we don't want to serve just for money, then we're not able to serve the people that we really want to connect with and that are lovely to work with. Because I think we can all say we've experienced bad clients that you might need to fire, that are not aligned with you. And having a very defined or refined brand really helps you connect with the people you want to. And if people are unclear of even what you do and who you serve, they're probably going to click next and not even reach out. So that is something that we do that for our clients, and we also do that for ourselves.
Now, you've got some free audit that you're offering right now. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have a free brand alignment audit that people can take on our website. Our website is aligncreativeminds.com. And with this alignment, it will help you get clear on your internal, your external brand, and give you a better understanding of what your unique strengths and differentiators are in your market. So this is a great resource that we have for free. And we also are opening our enrollment for Abundant Brand 101 starting on September 25th, 2020, depending on when you listen to this episode. But that is our Abundant Brand 101. It is our branding course. It's our signature branding course. It's our foundational course that we recommend people taking. And it's the easiest and most affordable way to actually work with us.
Well, Vitina Blumenthal of Align Creative Minds, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about your business.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Brian.
My honor. We're going to take a break and come back with another young female entrepreneur in just a minute, and she's going to tell you about her business. Stay with us.